Bernie Sanders was speaking in New Hampshire, and he attacked the conservative notion of family values. Take a look.
They often talk about family values. You hear them talking about family values? They just love families. But all of you know what they mean by family values. And what they mean by family values is that the women of this country should not have the right to control their own bodies. I disagree. What they mean by family values is that women are not smart enough to be able to purchase the contraceptives they need. I disagree.
Bernie Sanders is the shit. Like, I love him. I love the way he speaks. I love the topics that he speaks about. I love that he makes sense. The only thing I disagree with him on in that video is the very last portion where he says that they don't think women are smart enough to buy contraception. No. They're actually worried about women being too smart. That's the reason why they want to take the contraception away. That's the reason why they want to get rid of reproductive rights, because they don't like giving women the ability to basically come up with their own destiny and decide what their lives are going to be like.
So I have two things to say here. One is, feel the burn.
I felt it.
Okay. So Bernie Sanders is doing a lot of interesting things. One, he's going to red states. In that case, he happened to be New Hampshire. And that seemed random. They're like, why are you going to those places? Well, you know, they also have primaries. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's actually a brilliant move. Gets people really psyched up. They're happy to see a progressive in those states. So I love that strategy. Second of all, on Bernie Sanders, the reason he's resonating is because he's so obviously authentic. Who would fake that? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He'd be like, oh, I got a great idea. I'll do this whole shtick where I'm like a guy who's been a progressive his whole life and actually represents the people. Mm-hmm. and I'll be like bald and a little frumpy. Right? Who would make that up? No, he's the real deal. And he didn't go 40 years of his life to pretend to be something. He's been that.
Yes.
And look, people who follow the show closely know that I think he needs to be pressed on money and politics. I think that he can't get any of his agenda done if he doesn't get the money out of politics. I'm not sure I love his plan for getting money out of politics, but I do feel the burn. Okay, now on to the second issue, which is the issue of women's rights that he's addressing here. He's absolutely right. In the old days, the reason they didn't want you to get contraception, they didn't want you to get abortions, etc., it's not because it's in the Bible. It's because they needed more people for their armies. The Israelites had to fight the Canaanites and the Philistines back in the day, and then the Romans had to fight whoever they had to fight, and the list goes on and on throughout history. So at every turn, they viewed women as the vessel for the new army that they were going to raise.
Right.
So that's why it's so important that my clan's women do not have sex with the other clan's women. They are our property. They're going to get impregnated by us, have male babies who you're going to use in a war to make sure we beat the Canaanites.
Man, that is a long-term goal. You know what I mean? It's like, let's impregnate some women and wait, how long? 14 years maybe? 15 years?
No, now of course that it's in a lot of ways more subconscious than that. And but that's why they get territorial over women, right? And that's why they don't view women as like, oh, you'd like to have a freedom to do things. Oh, you'd like to fight some of the Philistines or the Canaanites. No, you stay with us. Okay, and you're our property, and we're going to get that womb, and we're going to use it for our purposes so that we're more stronger and more powerful. Right. That's why they have kept women down for millennium for that specific purpose. Now, at this point, that makes no sense at all. But they forgot why they were doing it. They're just robotically, quite literally, religiously following those dictates. Must control woman's womb.
I feel like it also has a lot to do with control. I think that in today's context, a lot of guys love the idea of a woman being dependent on them. And look, if you don't have, as a woman, if you don't have access to contraception, or if you don't have access to family planning in general, it's really, really difficult for you to not get pregnant and to continue on with your career, continue building your career. So if men take that away from us, if conservative men take that away from us, right, which you often hear in the news, well, then all of a sudden our freedom is taken away from us, right? We don't have the freedom to build the type of life that we want for ourselves. And these very, very easily emasculated pussies love the idea of women being dependent on them financially. It's a form of control, okay? That's all it is.
All right, let's go Steve-O.
Yeah, to further buttress Cenk's point about history and the role of women controlling women and how to and using that as an avenue to control your enemies and your friends is the whole concept of prima nocte, right? So you want to impregnate the conquered people with your people so that their kids are not aligned against you. They kind of support you. So this idea of controlling women's bodies has been very important throughout history.
You know, we don't talk about it because it's uncomfortable, but until very recently, rape after conquest was standard fare. So, and it was done for two reasons. One, it's a reward for the conquering army. Mm-hmm. Hey, if we win that city over, don't worry, you'll get to rape all the women in town, okay? So that happened, okay? And it happened over and over again. The second reason was, as Steve said, you impregnate those women, then it's your kids, and they're less likely to fight you. And in their crazy primitive mind back then, they view that as a win-win. Mm-hmm. Now, we hope that we've gotten a little bit more civilized than that, but we haven't let go of some of the ancient traditions, which were based on very ugly things. Mm-hmm. So people go, oh, heritage, tradition, values, must control womb, right? Mm-hmm. No. If you actually believed in freedom and the things that America's supposed to stand for, you would actually let women be as free as they can be and make their own decisions. I know that drives some people crazy, but that would be true family values. And Bernie Sanders is right. What would be other family values is if we actually gave people maternal leave, maternity leave, and medical leave so that they could take care of their families.
Right.